Hey, have you ever wondered what the best shopping cart is for either your website or for your products or your services? Well, I'm going to bring Miss Online Boutique Guru herself on to tell you about the differences in the different shopping cart apps. I'll let Akilah tell you all about it.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I get asked a lot about different shopping cart systems. And as you may or may not know if you've tried to sell products before, that there are a bunch of different options. There's Shopify, there's WooCommerce, there's Etsy, there's selling on your website, there's Gumroad. There's all kinds of shopping cart systems out there. And one of the biggest questions I get is why should someone use whatever it is they're using? What's really the best to go with the model of your store or your site and whatever you're doing with your business, and just a lot of confusion around different shopping cart models. I've run into a lot of people that tell you, oh yeah, you must use Shopify or you must use WooCommerce. And I'm here to tell you today that there is no must use. It really all depends on your business, what you're selling, how you want to sell it, and a little bit on your volume of what you're going to be doing. So I wanted to walk you through some of the bigger shopping cart systems out there. Of course, it would take me hours to go over all of them, but some of the big ones and the big names that you may hear. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what they are, what they're good and what they're useful for, and in what cases you may want to consider using them. So if you don't know, my name is Akilah Thompkins-Robinson. I run onlineboutiquesource.com, and I help people with traffic marketing and boutiquing. So if you are looking to open an online retail store and to sell physical products, I'm your girl. But in addition to that, even if you have coaching or courses or ebooks, anything, I know a lot about shopping carts, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So I'll start with what is my favorite. My favorite is WooCommerce. WooCommerce is a WordPress plugin, so you get it with WordPress. The plugin itself is actually free, which is cool. It's a WordPress plugin that allows you to sell products on your website. So if you're already a blogger and you're thinking, I want to start selling physical products along with my whatever I'm blogging about, like say if you decide you want to make notebooks or you want to start selling jewelry or pins or whatever it is, you can sell that using WooCommerce. One of the reasons why I like WooCommerce is because I think it's one of the quickest and the easiest. It's very robust and can fit right into an existing WordPress site, which I think is really great. Or if you're just spinning up your site, you already have the ability to do things like blogging, or later on if you want to start taking one-on-one appointments, you can do that all within one site without having to change platform over platform over platform. So those are some of the advantages of WooCommerce. The other thing I like about WooCommerce is using some of their add-ons, which are paid add-ons. You can add additional functionality. So say if you wanted to now do a membership site, they have an add-on for that, or subscription box, they have an add-on for that. So you can actually make WooCommerce work more for more than just the one or two things that you kind of start out with. So that's why I really like WooCommerce. Another option that you'll hear people talk about a lot is Shopify. So Shopify is one of the many hosted platforms. Hosted meaning that the company themselves hosts your website. You are paying Shopify a fee, and there's a monthly fee. They have different tiers depending on what you have on your site and how many products you have. But you are paying them a monthly fee, and they are hosting your website, which is a little bit different than WordPress if you're not familiar with WordPress, where you go out to like a Bluehost or a SiteGround and you buy your own hosting. In this case, Shopify supplies everything. They supply the hosting, they supply the software, they kind of run your whole business. So that's a really good model if you're only ever going to do e-commerce. Maybe a little bit of blogging to go with it because they do offer blogging, but only if you're ever going to really do products. And if you're going to do a lot of products, again, I recommend WooCommerce. But if you have maybe less than 100 products, Shopify is really good for that, only because they start to charge more the more products you have. So if you get that many products and you're doing that volume in your business, you probably want to go to something more robust. But if you're kind of just starting out, or if you're not really sure how much you want this to work and some of those other good questions, then Shopify is really good. And if you're only going to ever do e-commerce, then Shopify is a really good platform for doing that. It's one of the better of the host of platforms that I recommend. So you may hear things like BigCommerce or Big Cartel and some other platforms. I don't really recommend those. I really recommend Shopify because it's one of the more robust. It has a lot of options. One of the things with these hosted platforms is that you're stuck with whatever they allow you to do. So if they allow you to use PayPal, if they allow you to use Stripe, if they have abandoned cart software, everything that you have is whatever they provide or whatever they sell as an add-on. You don't have the option of building anything yourself or adding on whatever you want. So it's important that you get on a platform that has a lot of options. Even if you don't use them today, you may want to use them any other time in your life, in your life or your business. So you want to make sure that there's some options out there available. Some of the other ones don't have as many options. They don't have as much flexibility with their themes and their templates, and they really paint you into like a little corner. I don't like being in corners at all. So I like, if anything you're going to use hosted, I would definitely use hosted Shopify. Another one you may hear about is people using Squarespace. Now, a lot of coaches, consultants, courses, a lot of those folks may use something like a Squarespace. And Squarespace does offer e-commerce, but it's very, very limited. So if you're already a coach or consultant and you're maybe going to sell like 1 or 2 things or under 10 things, then yes, adding on the e-commerce for Squarespace may be really good for you. If you want to run a full store, I don't recommend Squarespace at all. If you're going to run a full store, you want to go to a software that was built with a store in mind. So something like your Shopify or your Woocommerce. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really like those. Same thing for other platforms like Wix and Weebly that you may hear about. Those, although they offer e-commerce, they weren't built with e-commerce and built with building a store in mind. So it really depends on the volume that you have. And Wix and Weebly also aren't really that great for SEO. Although they give you the SEO fields and they tell you, oh, you can use us for SEO. I'm going to tell you from my SEO expertise that they're not that great for SEO. So you also want to consider that a little bit in the platform that you choose. So now I'm going to move into if you're not selling a physical product. So if you're just selling digital, because someone out there is thinking, Akilah, I don't have anything to ship. I don't really, want all the digital, all the big product stuff. So there's some other little platforms out there for you too. So one that I like a lot, if you're just selling like a workbook or an ebook or something that's a downloadable file and you don't want to do a lot of setting up a full e-commerce on your store, is to use something called Gumroad. So Gumroad is a full third-party software, and you can actually see an example on my site, onlineboutiquesearch.com. If you go to my wholesalers listing, I'm actually using Gumroad to sell that. And you'll see it's just a link to buy now, and it takes me to a site that's called Gumroad. Now, Gumroad I like, and although it's third-party and although it's taking you off your site, I like it because it holds the file for you. It sends the person a link, so it does all your security in terms of, making sure your link doesn't get out there and get spread amongst people. It tracks who downloaded and who didn't download. It also has really nice features if somebody disputes a payment. It also does payment disputes for you. So it does a lot. So if you've only got, I'm going to say under 5 and they're all digital, like a workbook or an ebook or something that's just an easy download, then Gumroad is definitely the place for you. Now, on Gumroad, it'll tell you can do subscriptions and you can do physical products and do all that stuff. Don't do that. Use Gumroad only for downloads. Only for downloads. Like I said, if you have a ebook, workbook, meditations, like an audio or a video that you just want people to have the file, you don't care if they watch it online or not, again, that's a really, really good place to start with that, Gumroad. Under 5 things. If you have more, then you want to get something a little bit more robust. Now, if you want to sell digital files like that on your actual site and you don't want to go through Gumroad, there are 2 options. One, WooCommerce does that. So WooCommerce is really good for digital products as well. And there's another plugin out there called Easy Digital Download that I like a lot. That's, again, just strictly for just downloadable products. So if you got more than the 5 that I'm telling you to put on Gumroad, then you can use something like an Easy Digital Download or use WooCommerce's download features. There's a little bit more around security and making sure that your link is not being able to click other places. So if somebody like hacks somebody's email address or, just intercepts it in like the internet, how people talk about, a little bit more security you'll need with the using something directly on your site. But again, if you have a lot more products, a lot more things that you're selling, it's a really, really good option. Last thing I'm going to talking about shopping carts, is if you're going to do courses. So if you're going to do courses, and I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a lot out there. If you're going to do courses, you don't really want to use any of these, except for maybe WooCommerce has the memberships, and there's some ways to do courses with that, but it's not really what I would recommend for courses. For courses, you want to use something like, there's a couple of course plugins that I really like. Zippy Course, which is what I use for my programs. Zippy Courses, Wishlist is another one that are really good on-site. And these are for if you have a WordPress site. On-site course platforms really good are Wishlist and Zippy Courses and MemberPress. So those 3 are really good ones. And I'm going to tell you there's a guy called Chris Lema, ChrisLema.com, who does roundups of all the membership courseware. So if you want to really dig deep into what courseware I should use to sell my courses, Chris Lema is a good guy to follow. So those things are really good for courseware because you have to not only consider the security and the purchasing of the course, but also how it's delivered. So you want the courses set up in modules, you want them drip, you want them that. So setting up a course is a little bit more than just getting a shopping cart. You want to consider all the other things around managing a course when you're determining how you want to sell it. So when people tell you, oh, you can just set that up in your WooCommerce, or oh, you can just do that in PayPal, don't do that. You want to definitely get something that's going to run your courses. So those are some of the ones that are within your site. And again, mostly if you have WordPress. If you want off-site, another good ones are Zippy Course actually now has a standalone, so you can use Zippy Course again, or you can use New Kajabi, which is another one that a lot of people really like. And it's similar to Shopify. It hosts your whole course and everything for you. So those are a couple of shopping cart options, depending on what kind of things you're doing, whether or not you're selling a physical product, whether or not you're selling a downloadable digital product, if you're selling a course. Those are some of the shopping cart options you have out there. Now, of course, like I said, there's plenty of different things out there for shopping carts. I didn't get into like if you're selling on Etsy or at eBay, or if you're doing t-shirts. There's so much out there. I could go on and on for hours and hours. But if you need more information, you can definitely come check me out over at onlineboutiquestores.com, and we can talk about some of those other some of those other shopping cart delivery options that are out there for you to try. Hope this was helpful and you enjoyed it. Like I said, you can always come join me on onlineboutiquestores.com. My name's Akilah Thompkins-Robinson, and it's been great sharing with you today.
So did you like that video? I'm sure you did. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the video. And then head over to Akilah's channel and show her some love for this video. All right? Ciao.